expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WTJX, board, staff, or underwriters.
Good day. You are listening to Ability Radio. I am one of your hosts, Kishma B. Francis from the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. We have two locations, one in St. Croix and one in St. Thomas. Today, I have with me a special guest, Tarik McMillan. Tarik, if you could just tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization.
Yeah, sure. Good morning, everybody. Those listening and those that will listen. My name is Tarik McMillan. I am one of the co-owners of Greater Changes. Co-own the business with my wife, Tamara Mohammed. She's also the clinical director and an amazing clinician. We have been operating now since, I think it's 2018, 2019. I moved back home in 2017 after getting my master's in clinical mental health counseling, and just kind of hit the ground running and just kind of been doing the work ever since.
And I must say, Tamara keeps us in check. Look, I love her because when she just sends gentle reminders, she's like, how is this coming along? How is this coming along? And that's what we need in this community. Tell us about the mission of Greater Change.
Yeah. So when we think about our mission, it's to empower individuals and communities. A lot of the work that we do is centered around the belief that everybody deserves to thrive. Everybody deserves to have access to wellness services. And I think it more recently changed where we didn't start with this liberation focus in mind. It was more of like, there's work to do and we do the mental health stuff. And after a while, we realized like, if the work isn't liberation focused, then I don't know, what's the opposite of liberation? We don't want to do that.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So let's talk about your team. I know you talked about Tamara a little bit. Let's talk about the rest of your team.
Yeah. It's actually really interesting. So we've grown quite a bit since we started. It's been Tamara and I for a long time. And now we have 5 other clinicians. Double check. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 other clinicians. So we have Tyrone Saki. He is a master's level clinician, also a college roommate of mine. So it's great to like have this full circle moment. Andra Williams, she is a clinician out of Georgia. Danielle Carrelos. We also have, Deja Underwood. Yeah. And then we have Terry Lynch. She's our wellness coordinator for the Bright Path project. So the wellness center is like its own separate project under Greater Changes that's morphed into this awesome community development, community empowerment project. And then we have Gabby Paulson. And so technically it's executive assistant, admin assistant, but I always found that that title doesn't really encompass all the work that she does. She is, I guess if I had to give it a term, she is like the coordinator of client experience. Like that's the person who you speak to when you first call. She gets appointments set up. She communicates regularly with the community partners. So she is awesome. Awesome. The whole team, like it's great to have a team of like-minded people all wanting to do the work and like make the Virgin Islands a better place.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So you mentioned the Bright Line project. I really want to hear more about it because this is the first time I'm hearing about it. If you don't mind sharing a little bit.
Yeah. So the Wellness Center, the Bright Path Wellness Center is a project in conjunction with VI Housing Authority. So the idea behind it is bringing community wellness directly to the community. So rather than having a community member having to go elsewhere, and whether it be just down the street or on the other side of the island, like being able to have services and people to help connect you to those services in that community is incredibly impactful. So we focus on physical health screenings, mental health screenings, group activities, family events. We actually just had our first public facing event. We partnered with Rotary Club of St. Croix to do a poetry and open mic day on Sunday. We had students from junior high and high school. It was an awesome event. The Friday we had our family community movie night. We screened Zootopia. This is the 4th one that we've had so far. It's just going to get better and better. We have kids yoga. We have a gentle yoga for adults. That's Thursdays at 5:30. We have soca aerobics classes. It's fitness, movement, mental health. It's wellness all compacted into this center, and with intentions of reaching the community as well as like the outside and surrounding Frederickson community as well.
Where is the center located?
So center is in the Marley Housing and Additions community. A beautiful place. I mean, like being able to, like right now I'm in the center and I'm looking out the window and there's the ocean. Like it's a beautiful place to be.
Wow. I didn't even know you guys had all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah,
listening and I'm just smiling because it's what our community actually need. We need all of this stuff. Wow.
100%. I'm glad to be a part of the work.
Hmm. So, what are your hours of operation?
Mondays and Fridays, we are open 10 to 4, and then Wednesdays, 12 to 6. On Thursdays, we have the yoga classes. So we're open at like 4:30 to 6:30 on Thursday nights for the classes, and then Saturday mornings, 10 to 11. And then we have a next class that happens at 2 to 3, 2:30 to 3:30. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday evenings, and Saturday mornings.
Awesome. Awesome. So, we know of the good things guys been doing in the community. However, just I'm hearing more. So we decided to collaborate with you guys on the reading initiative. You sparked our interest when you said you guys have a bookshelf with books. And we decided that we needed to bring a reading initiative where DARRI Book Club, DARRI is a disability advocacy and Rights Reading Initiative, and it's under the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. And this book club was created after we had a conversation with youth. And the youth said they needed more help learning to read or reading phonetically. So that's how the book club was created. So just to talk about that initiative, we want to bring that initiative into greater changes because we think it'll be an asset to the community. Our goal is just to meet the people where they are and provide resources. That's our goal. And when we had that conversation with your team, it's like they wholeheartedly just embraced us and we loved it and we still love it. So we're hoping to start this initiative the second week of March. We have the funding ready. We just need to find the people to
Yeah.
be the readers and the tutors for our students. It's going to be open from ages 0 to 99 if you need help reading. That's our goal. What do you think, Tarik?
Yeah, I think whenever we talk about literacy, like reading is so revolutionary. Like not just reading, but access to literature, access to reading resources. Whenever we look at communities that have a lower literacy rate, you can almost guarantee that the area that happens in, you could find deep disadvantage.
Mm.
It's tied low literacy is tied to so much of like the negative health outcomes. But it's such a tricky conversation too, because it's not to say that you teach somebody to read and all of a sudden these health outcomes change. But if you have somebody who has to navigate the systems that we generally have to navigate, so think government services, think job applications, and most things in our community, like you have to be able to read some form of text, right? So being able to give someone this skill and help facilitate, because you're not giving them the skill, you help them facilitate the skill. We we have the potential to really change the trajectory of someone's life and subsequently like a community's trajectory as well.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And reading is important. Reading is important. I've seen in IEP meetings in just where the parents and the students, if they're unable to read, it becomes a big barrier.
Mhm.
So just providing that resource to your community, we think we can be helpful as the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. What's next for greater changes, Tarik?
A lot, a
Mhm.
lot. The wellness center really is the beginning of a model that we hope to integrate throughout the territory and eventually the Caribbean. Like we want to be able to have centers of wellness where people could just be and connect, learn a skill, pick up on a resource that, learn about a resource that maybe they weren't aware of before. I, I, I think, I think that that's where we're headed. We, I don't know, like, it's so interesting. A lot of the things that we're doing right now, like we've been dreaming of for a
Mhm.
long time. I think just because of the nature of the work and how difficult it's been at times, we kind of like, we pursue an opportunity and then we say, okay, well, this might happen, but we can't focus on this right now because we have all these, X amount of things in front of us right now to focus on. So hopefully the opportunity comes up and then we'll get to that. And it just so happens that a lot of the opportunities that we have pursued like have come through, so now it's like there's a necessity, a requirement that we have to like focus and like get the systems in place and run them so we could take a step back and do all the other things that we want to achieve. And at the end of my life, I hope that I could look back and say like, wow, like greater changes really made a difference in the Virgin Islands.
Wow. That's deep. That's deep, Tarik. That's deep. And when the exercise classes, are they only open to the residents or is just the entire community?
So yeah, so we're open now to the community. We started off with just focusing on people who live in Mali, but now it's open to the surrounding community as well.
Nice. Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So if anyone follows us on Bright Path Wellness Center on Facebook, you will see all the programming that we have. You'll also see links to register for classes. And then there's also like areas where like if there's a program or a class that somebody's interested in maybe running or facilitating, like reach out. Now we want to serve as like a hub for people who have ideas, who have programs that are have a positive benefit, a significant positive impact on the community, and let's bring them here.
Definitely, definitely. And let's talk more about community collaborations because since we have met you through one of our advocates, Don O'Brien, we've been we enjoy just watching the work that you guys have been doing and we want to partner more. So let's talk about community collaboration. How important is it in our community to collaborate on different projects?
It is critical that there's a lot more collaboration. I think a lot of the issues that we have in our community come from a lack of collaboration. Like I think we we often have to navigate environments where we're all kind of looking towards the same limited resources to be able to fund the things that we want to do. So there's more of like a siloed way of doing the work that happens in a community that's really to the detriment of the community. So collaboration is incredibly important. If we're not working together, like we won't get a lot.
That's awesome. You're right. You're right. We cannot operate in silos. Do you have any plans to expand to St. Thomas?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Right now, we do offer services in St. Thomas.
Okay.
I know there are other projects. We want to get involved in communities more. We want to do more wellness centers in St. Thomas as well. I know that it's going to take a larger effort. I am more familiar with St. Croix. I have a larger network here. I have more partners that I could like actively reach out to in St. Thomas. So I know it's going to take a lot of like being on the ground and meeting people who have like-minded ideas, who have similar values and want to get good work done. So yeah, we're there's a definite plan to get into St. Thomas, to be in St. John, Walter Island, and just go through the Caribbean. Like we all have
Nice.
similar issues in all the Caribbean islands. So if it works here, maybe let's try it someplace else and tweak it to that environment, and let's see how well it works.
I'm going to speak it into existence for you. 2027, you'll be in St. Thomas.
Okay, okay, I love it.
Oh, so you said you lived in the States and you moved back. I just want to talk to you about that very quickly because I'm one of those people who've lived in the States. I lived in the States for oop, almost 30 years. And then I moved back and I saw that there were a lack of resources or lack of information to the resources. How did you feel?
So when I moved home, it was January 2017, and I had like it was always a plan to move back home. Like from the day I left, it was like, yeah, I'll be back. And moving home, like it's one thing to learn these things in a grad program, and then like you get on the ground and it's a very different experience. Like a lot of the theory and the ideas that, it sounds good in a textbook. Sometimes it's not effective in a different community, a different population. Like there's different barriers when you think about stigma. There's barriers when it comes to like socioeconomic status. You have the siloed working that I mentioned earlier. So there was a lot of barriers, and there still continue to be barriers, but it's been quite the journey, like learning how to navigate these systems effectively. I think when I first moved back home, I was in such a rush to just make change happen that I started to become like burnt out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like there's a demand that you just keep on going and you fix this thing, and once you find the solution, you just keep fixing and you keep fixing, and like that's a surefire way to get burnt out.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then the hurricanes later in that year, like it really, I think during that time I worked as forget the name of the position, but it was connected with FEMA, and it was at the centers where like they were lining up to sign up for different services, record like whatever damages had happened to their homes. And I was a crisis counselor. That's what the position was. I was a crisis counselor. And I spoke with so many people who just didn't have a lot of the insight or the language to describe what they were feeling after the hurricane. Like the fear of, I just lost my roof and I don't know, where food is going to come from. Because I had made a plan to store supplies, but when the roof went, like most of those things got destroyed. So like I dealt with so many of those situations, and it was like, oh, like I know I want to be a therapist, but I felt like it had to happen now. Like I have to go and start this now. And that was, I won't say the impetus, but it was definitely like a launching point and a milestone moment for where we are today.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, my story is a little different. I just went to Disability Rights Center to get assistance with creating a nonprofit, and Archie's like, "Oh, you have a background in teaching special education. Oh, you're an attorney. I might need you to work on this project." And here I am since 2021. So
Work out.
he roped me in, and here I am. So, Tarik, greater changes. What do you want to see happen in the next 3 months with the organization? We're just doing it 3 months.
Yeah. If I have a best case scenario for the next 3 months, the projects that we're working on and the projects that we have coming up in the next few weeks will all have systems in place that run effectively. I think that's been our approach to most things. We implement and test systems. We work out the kinks. We get everything as working as smoothly as possible, so it builds more bandwidth for us to do other things. So yeah, so that's best case scenario. 3 months, we have systems in place that are running effectively. Maybe we would have added on maybe 2 more clinicians, 2 more specializations. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's a tough question because people normally think of 30 days at a time. And I said 3 months, and I'm like, Tarik gonna answer it. He will answer it. So I just want to, before we wrap up, I want to talk about our reading initiative. So by the time this is heard on the radio, you would have seen the flyers to go ahead and register for this initiative. And this initiative, it will also provide you resources. And the initiative I'm talking about is the DARRI Book Club. And this book club is going to be in Greater Changes. And we're just going to be providing the manpower, the readers, the tutors to assist the community and just assist our community with learning how to read and just building that confidence when it comes to mastering literary. Is that a good way to say it, Tarik?
Yeah. I think especially in the context of the work that you guys do, being able to increase general literacy improves the likelihood that people have improved health literacy. So being able to navigate healthcare systems, being able to understand more deeply like some of the side effects and make better decisions that lead to more improved health outcomes. So while it's not like a causal relationship, like definitely being able to improve overall literacy like can have a very powerful impact in the community. So I'm excited for this project.
Yes, me too. So, Tarik, before we start the wrap up, go ahead and just give them the information about Greater Changes, how to connect with you guys, and all of that stuff so the listening audience can have it again.
Yeah, sure. So you can reach us, greaterchangesllc.com. You can book appointments. You can speak to us directly through the site. The sign up process for either consultations or that first session is really simple. You don't have to print anything. Like everything can be done with the touch of a button on your phone. So it was intentionally made simple, at least in the digital format that way. The phone number is 833-409-3474. You can also find us on Facebook at Greater Changes, Instagram, TikTok. I think Instagram is _ Greater Changes. So definitely reach out when you do hear this, follow us, share the information. Even if the first time that we engage, it's a consultation, what to expect in therapy, how to go about finding a therapist, even if it's not necessarily working with our clinicians, like we just really want people to access the care that they need. So if you want insight or help in, how do I find a therapist? Where else can I find therapists? Like definitely reach out for those things too.
How long is a consultation?
Between 15 to 20 minutes.
Okay.
And it's completely free.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh,
yes.
I think that's the other part. So we also accept insurance. If you are listening to this and you are a government employee or you are a person who is a dependent of a government employee, mental health services are completely free for you if you have government insurance. Like you don't have to pay for government insurance. Like I think cost is often one of the barriers to accessing care. If you
Yes.
are a government employee, take advantage of that benefit. Like use the insurance.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. I'm really glad you said that. Before you go, can you talk about the stigma attached to just seeking mental health wellness?
Yeah. So this is actually how I begin some of my workshops and presentations, like letting people know that the stigma that we feel, though very real, these beliefs about mental health aren't necessarily ours. Like they're very much part of like this exposure to like Western and Eurocentric cultures, where like those systems of care weren't as hmm, those systems of care weren't as intentional and accepting and collective in nature in the way that more indigenous and different Caribbean cultures have had mental health care.
Mm-hmm.
So when we think about stigma, like we think about what people are going to think about us
Mm-hmm.
if we ask for help. What does it mean for me if I ask for help? Does it mean that I'm a weak person who just can't manage the stressors of life? We have such we call it like this Caribbean super person mentality.
Yes.
Like we should be able to persevere and be resilient and VI strong through all.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, VI strong is a beautiful sentiment, but when it's, I can only be rough and rigid and tough in these stressful situations, and I can't be vulnerable, I can't be open. That's when we find ourselves like in the predicament that we're in right now. So the
Yes.
stigma is real. Even in our consultations, in our first sessions, like that's a conversation that we have. Like what did it take for you to even get to the office or to the screen when we do telehealth? Like And talking openly about that is the only way that we really address stigma.
Wow. Thank you, Tarik. Thank you so much. So the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands, we're located in St. Croix, next to the former Kmart in the west, and we're located in St. Thomas above Delhi Deck. We have resources online, www.drcvi.org. If you want to call us, our phone number is 340-776-4303. Tarik, any last word that you would like to give us?
We appreciate the collaboration. We are looking forward to collaborating with other community partners. And we're just looking forward to doing good work in our community.
Yes, we cannot operate as in a silo anymore. We need to collaborate. Ability Radio has been brought to you by the Disability Rights Center of the Virgin Islands. Thank you once again, Tarik, for joining. And do have a nice day.
All right, bye.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily those of WTJX, its board, staff, or underwriters.